Do you want to go out?
No, sir, no, sir.
Yeah, then stop it. And you all need to wear a mask. You all need to wear a mask. Alright. So here, first thing we'll say angle K is equal to angle M. The reason opposite angles of a palm. Okay? Opposite angles of a palm are equal. So we just write it like that. Once you do that, then you can say 5x minus 12 degrees is equal to 3x plus 18. The objective is to solve for x and also to find the size of all the interior angles. So I need to find x first. Then from there I can find the sizes of all the angles. Okay? Then from here, now this becomes algebra now. Solving equation, that's term 1. So you take the 3x to the left, you get 2x equal to, take the minus 12 to the right, you get 30 degrees. Then you divide both sides by 2, you get x equal to 15 degrees. Okay? Now, this is not the answer. The question is not asking us to determine x. We're supposed to determine the angles, and there are 4. Okay? There are 4 of them. So, since I now know what x is, I can find the size of angle K, I can find the size of angle M. So here I'll say angle K is equal to 5x minus 12 degrees, which is equal to 5 times 15 minus 12, and that gives me 75 degrees minus 12, and then you get 63 degrees. So angle K is going to be 63 degrees. Okay? Now, since angle K is 63, it means that angle M is also 63, because the opposite angles of a palm are equal. So I've already written that angle K is equal to angle M. So here I can just write angle M is equal to 63 degrees, because I already wrote that statement already. Okay? Or if you want, you can just say therefore angle M is equal to 63 degrees. Okay? Now we need to determine angle N and angle M. Now, N and L, we just have to find one of the two, because they are equal. So, okay, let me go to the next page, but I think I can do it here. Let me use this color. Just carry on here. Angle N plus angle K will give us 180 degrees, because they are co-interior angles. Okay, which lines are parallel? It's going to be KL is parallel to MN. Okay, we are told that it's a palm, so I can write that. If it's a palm, it means the opposite sides are equal and they are parallel. The opposite angles are equal, the diagonals bisect, so. Okay, then I know that my angle K is 63. So here I'll write N is equal to 180 minus 63 degrees, and that will give me 117 degrees. Okay? Now, angle N is equal to angle L, because they are opposite angles of a palm. Therefore, angle L is also 117 degrees. Then we are done. Okay, so we've got that answer. We also have here the value of K and that value of M. Okay, so I use the properties of palms together with the geometry of straight lines, that is parallel lines, to do the question. And then you are done. Okay? First, we want to prove that triangle AOB is equal to triangle DOC. Okay? In fact, we want to prove that they are congruent. Okay? The good thing is that we are told that A, B, C, D is a palm, which means we can use the properties of the palm. Okay? Fortunately, you are in grade 10. Last year, you did such stuff there. Okay? So I want to prove that A or D is equal to, sorry, A or B is equal to D or C. Now, first, I'll write here in triangle A or B and triangle D or C. That's the first thing. You want to prove the congruency of two triangles. Okay? So, now if the triangles are named correctly in terms of the corresponding angles, then you can also use that. But remember, this is congruency, so we have to prove that any one of the four conditions are satisfied. Now, the two triangles are the following. We have got A, O, and then we have got D. The other one is going to be,
It's A, O, B.
okay, it's A, O, okay. Okay, we have got A or B, that's A or B, so that's that way. Right? And the other one is D or C, so that's D or C. So those are the two triangles. Okay? So if you want to prove that they are congruent, these two triangles here, we have to use the properties of palm. Now, in my case, there's more than one way of doing it. I can't give you all the answers because of time. So, what I'm going to do is this. First, I'm going to prove that angle A1 is equal to angle C1. Okay, this is C. So A1 is equal to C1, they are alternate angles. Also, angle B1 is equal to angle D1, they are alternate. Then I'll say AB is equal to CD because they are opposite sides of the palm. Then I'm going to use angle side condition to prove the congruence. Okay? So that's how I'm going to do it. But that's not the only way. Okay? That's not the only way. You can also use SAS or any other condition, but not RHS, of course. So number one, I'm going to say AB is equal to CD. My reason, opposite sides of the palm. Okay?
How can you use SAS for that one?
Okay, you have to prove that this side is equal to the diagonals bisect, remember? So AO is going to be equal to OC and DO is equal to OP. And then this angle here is equal to that because they are vertical opposites. But that's another way of doing it. Then number two, so I'm going to say A1 is equal to C1. Why? Because they are alternate angles. And then you must state the lines that are parallel. Okay? So our AC here is the transversal. So which means AB is parallel to CD. So I'll write that down. AB is parallel to CD.
So,
Yes?
so angle O wouldn't be, like you can't say that both angles are equal because they're adjacent.
Which angle?
I mean, like the angle O for triangle ABO.
Okay. There are two angles there, so you might need to specify which angle are you talking about. Are you talking about A or B or D or C? You have to
A or B.
Yeah, if you want, because you see, in my case here, I decided to use the condition which says that if two angles at the side of corresponding triangles are equal, then the triangles are congruent. You can also use SAS, you can also use triple S for the same person. So there are three ways of doing it. So you can do it based on what you first see. Okay? You can do it based on what you first see. But all three conditions can be used here. So I'm going to use the double AS. Are you following what I'm saying? Then, B1 is equal to D1. Okay, they are alternate angles. And which lines are parallel? So this is D1, that's B1, it's 2AB is parallel to CD. Okay, once I prove these three, that is a pair of sides that are equal, two pairs of corresponding angles that are equal, then I can say therefore triangle A or B is congruent triangle D or C. My condition here is that a side, an angle, and an angle. Now, you can write this angle, angle, side. If you want, you can also start with the side and the side, angle, angle. It's still fine. Okay, but I prefer to start with the A first. Okay? But this is not the only way. Because this is geometry, you may see it differently. Okay? So you can either use SAS to prove that the two triangles are congruent, or triple S to prove that those two triangles are congruent. All three ways, you get the same marks. Okay? So that's what you need to know. Any question? Looks like it's complicated, but it's not. It's not complicated. And it doesn't need to cause you to end up having an increase in heartbeat because you saw this person. It's so easy. If you were able to prove the congruence of the two triangles, if two triangles are congruent, it means their corresponding sides are equal. Okay? So to do part B, it's so simple. Let me use so part B, all you have to write is the diagonals. Which diagonals are we talking about? We are talking about DB and what? AC. Okay? So you can write that AO is equal to OC. This is true. Why is it true? Okay? Because the question says prove that the diagonals bisect. We know that the diagonals of a palm bisect, but here we are supposed to prove that they really bisect. So the reason there is the fact that the two triangles are what? Are congruent. So you can write here congruent triangles, or you can just write triangle AOB is congruent to triangle DOC. That's why these two are equal. Because the corresponding sides of congruent triangles are equal. Okay, therefore AO is equal to OC. Now, AO is equal to OC. Okay? AO is equal to what? To OC. Also, DO is equal to what? To OB. So I'll say here, DO is equal to OB. My reason again is based on proving that those two triangles are congruent. Now, because we have got these two pairs of equal sides, it's a sign that the diagonals what? Bisect. What does diagonals bisect mean? It means the diagonals cut each other into two equal parts. So this DB is divided into two, that is DO and OB. AC is divided into two, that is AO and OC. Then we are done. By writing these two statements and that reason there, we have proved that the diagonals what? Bisect. Then you can say therefore, the diagonals bisect each other. Okay. Okay, if you've got a question here, feel free to ask. Because it looks complicated, but it's not.